Snap Fitness in Grand Island offers 24-hour access, free weights, strength training machines, cardio equipment, nutrition plans, and personal trainers. They'll work with you to help you reach the goals you have in mind. Located at 217 East Dolly Park Road in GI.
Welcome to In the Hoop. I'm George Ayub with Bobby Mills, the 1,000-yard guy, and Elisa Reitz, our producer-director behind the camera. We're going to talk a little high school hoops. It's win or go home time for everybody now. Everybody's on the clock, as we like to say. So we're going to talk a little. We'll start with the boys first. Remind you, our broadcast brought to you by Snap Fitness.
All right, since I can't do it.
That's right, yeah. So the Islanders... at 5-18 in the power points, they were 3 from the bottom, whatever that is, 29th, I guess. So it looks as though, and I took this from the World Herald this morning. Stu had some projected districts. So these are not official, but it looks like the Islanders are going to go play Omaha South at Omaha South.
I think that's what I had.
Yeah.
I had one different team in there, but I think that's the fate. Yeah.
I looked at the points. Stu had South Sioux City ahead of Lincoln Southeastern in the points, but this morning the NSAA points had that reversed. I'm not sure how that worked out. So those were as of 5:15 this morning, but the NSAA also had not paired any districts up. So Islanders look like they're going to go to play Omaha South, the new number one in Stu's polls this morning. They have the work cut out for them with the Great South team.
They do. I think I'd rather see him play South than Central myself, but I don't know. It might match up a little better. But there was a reverse score on Saturday. It had Bell West beating South, and I thought that might be kind of strange. But South did indeed win the game.
And, South's number one by virtue of 3 wins over ranked teams in the last week and a half or so, last part of the season here. So, and that's where they started the season.
Yep, that's right.
Ranked number one. And, of course, it looks as though Bellevue East, South, Omaha Central, Omaha South, West Side, Bellevue West, South Sioux City, and Lincoln Southeast will host. In Class A, the highest seed hosts, the top 7 seeds, and then they get one wild card in there.
And you know the grumbling about South Sioux City, too, because they haven't played very many Class A games.
Right,
so,
but they're gonna host, and they don't make the rules.
Nope,
they just
right.
Show up and play. So you're always going to have some grumbling on that. So the Islanders looks like they're going to play Omaha South. It's going to be a tough matchup for them.
Yep.
Islanders got beat up at Columbus. That one kind of surprised me. I thought maybe they'd get the Discoverers, but the Discoverers had a couple kids in double figures, and so Grand Island goes. That game is on Saturday night, I believe.
It is, yeah. Playing, or not a playing game, but that's when they start.
That's when they start. So now, Northwest. I was looking at this district. The Northwest District does not have a team with a winning record.
Nope.
Including obviously the Vikings at 8-16. But this is a very winnable district for the Vikings, who really played well down the stretch.
Yeah, they did.
They put a beat down on McCook and Aurora this weekend, and so Aurora 10-12, Hastings 7-14, Holdridge 10-12, Lexington 10-14, and Northwest comes in, as I said, at 8-16. The Vikings have wins over Lexington, Holdridge, and Aurora already this season. They lost by 1 point at Hastings, so they have a shot.
They do, and I kind of dissected that district, and Northwest is the only team that's really playing well right now. Aurora looked really disappointing. They lost a buzzer beater at Holdridge, Friday night, but they just didn't look cohesive Saturday night. And I think Northwest, they've won their last 2, and that's a long as winning streak as you'll find in that district. So what the heck?
Yeah.
I think they have a shot. And I think they'll probably play Hastings in the play-in game, don't you?
It looks that way.
Yeah.
Hastings, just based on this, that would be the play-in game, and
Aurora would probably play Lex, and then Northwest would get the Holdridge again.
So a good shot for.
I think they do. Yeah. Right here in town too.
Right here in town. Okay, we're going to go to C1 in the Central Catholics in the sub C19, and they're matched up with C110 on the other side of the bracket. Crusaders earned the number 1 seed. They're going to play the winner of St. Paul Central City, and I look for the Crusaders to emerge from that side of the district pretty easily. Although Adams Central, did get them early in the season.
Yep.
That was a depleted Crusader team that they beat. So they can't look past anybody here.
On the other side, Adams Central will be a formidable opponent.
Yeah.
Young front line, but boy, those kids can shoot.
Yeah,
they
can.
really can. But
a couple good teams on the other side of the bracket.
Yep, and if you're Tino Martinez or whoever's wishing, do you want to play Gibbon or do you want to play Kearney Catholic? Myself, I think Central Catholic matches up with Gibbon more than they do Kearney Catholic. That team just scares you. In the last 10 years, you would be astounded by their winning percentage. But they rarely get to stay.
Yeah, very athletic.
Oh, yeah, and deep.
And deep. So you're right. Gibbon is the number 1 seed. Kearney's the number 2 seed. Gibbon plays winner Broken Bow Centura. Kearney matches with 8 and 15 Minden. So I'm pretty sure Kearney Catholic and Gibbon, they'll meet in the finals. But like you say, if that plays out, who do you want to play?
I know. Loser goes home, too, so you have to win out, as the Crusaders have to.
Yeah, the Crusaders have to win out because we've talked about this before. A great season, I think.
Yep.
But their power points have just not kept up.
No, they haven't.
Of course, C1 and C2 are both loaded.
You talk about
the boys' side.
Just as much as Class B is down.
Our friends out of Heartland Lutheran are in the D6 over at St. Cecilia. They'll play Harvard. They're the number 1 seed in that sub-district.
Yeah.
They've earned it.
That's great. Yes, they have.
They came in 11 and 9 and just have really done a nice job. Shelton Red Cloud also in that district. On the other side, Humphrey St. Francis is the number 1 seed. They are 13 and 9 on the season. So if it works on paper the way it should, Heartland Lutheran might be matching up with Humphrey St. Francis.
They might. I don't remember how many years ago it was, but Lloyd Wagnitz had a team kind of like this, and they went up and beat somebody from that area to get to state. Lindsay Holy family, maybe. Mm-hmm. So you never know.
Right.
And they only beat Harvard by 2 points earlier. I can't see that being that close of a game, but boy, some people get a little surge this time of year when they know that.
And you live and die by the 3, which is the Hornets. Fast pace, a lot of 3-point shots. One of the things that I always consider is the shooting background, where you play, because 3-point shooters, you need to be comfortable.
Yes, you do.
And so, St. Cecilia is a good place to. There's a lot of guys who made 3-point baskets, but there's no open end.
Nope.
I know a few years ago the Islanders played in the district at Omaha Central. And, at Central, there's an open end, the east end of the gym.
The east end is open? I know open. The other one isn't. I didn't see.
And the other one, you're right up against the wall. So,
wow.
that can cause some shooters, to get their depth perceptions kind of
Remember
off.
how Pershing used to bother people with that?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great point, George.
Yeah. So we'll see how they do, and that ball game will be tomorrow night.
And they've been working on defense, George. So that might really help their game from here on out.
Right. So that's it on the boys' side. We're going to talk about girls who are really kind of in the midst of things right now, districts and sub-districts. So we'll be back after a message from Snap Fitness.
What's the most centrally located gym in Grand Island? Try Snap Fitness, a 24/7 gym that's loaded with state-of-the-art equipment from Cybex for both strength and cardio. Located at 217 East Dolly Park Road in Grand Island.
All right, we are back with In the Hoop. I'm George Ayub with Bobby Mills. We're talking high school basketball. We've vetted the boys and their district runs. We're going to talk about the girls who started sub-district play last week. So the Islanders finished the season with 2 good wins.
Boy, they did.
And we talked about that last week, how important that's going to be, and they did. They got it done against North Star 42-33 and then Columbus 40-37. They're going to play Kearney. Rivalry game.
Isn't that weird?
Is this really weird? And they're going to play it at Bellevue East. Kearney comes in at 17-6, and the Islanders 8-14 now. So we'll see what happens there. It's tough to beat somebody 3 times in a season.
It is.
That might work for the Islanders. Kearney's a good team. They're very balanced inside out. The Islanders, have had some success with some up tempo. But I think the big thing here will be confidence.
It will. And they stayed with Kearney for a while. I don't know if you got there for the girls' game. We watched it. They stayed with Kearney for a while, and then Kearney made some adjustments and pulled away. But I'm thinking that Coach Michael will make adjustments too. And
you made the point on the show last week that there's a good chance that Kearney's student body won't travel on a Tuesday night, Tuesday night, tomorrow night, won't travel, and so it's really a neutral. This will be interesting. It'll be the basketball, not the atmosphere here and at Bellevue East. So the Islanders going to tip it off against Kearney, and as you say, winner goes home.
They couldn't be entering districts on a higher note than now. That's great.
This is great. Couple wins out of the chute. So the Northwest Viking girls, defending state champions. They're going to get the winner of Lex and Aurora. They also ended the season on their usual high note.
Oh, my goodness.
66-35, and then a massive beatdown on Aurora, 76-21.
I've never said 3 so many times in my life as Saturday night. Northwest, incidentally, broke the state record for the most...
they had records.
Yeah, Bob Geininger, and obviously keeping track, they had 16 trays, which breaks the record of 15, and Kinsey Brown had 10, which was one off the record. So they just couldn't miss.
So you'd had a tape loop that said 3-pointer.
I wished I could have just hit a button. Yeah, really, that night. In poor Aurora, they just didn't know. How can you stop that?
Right. Well, the one thing about the Northwest girls is they're so athletic that they get threes out of almost any set, in the half-court set, in the fast break.
I know.
And I was watching a lot of the Creighton men's basketball game, and they were talking about, and earlier Duke and Syracuse, they're naturally talking about the best time to shoot a three is an offensive rebound. And those girls know how to spot out.
Oh, boy,
and they all can shoot the three. All of them can shoot the three.
Yeah.
And so that's a real weapon in Mike Herzberg's arsenal. 20-2 they come in. They're the number 1 seed, obviously, in their district. And their district includes the same teams as the boys. That would be Holdridge, Lexington, Aurora, Hastings.
And then Holdridge always lurks at the end for Northwest girls.
And so that'll be, the Northwest girls have all the power points, but again, you don't want that.
No.
You almost wish that wasn't in the back of their minds.
I know.
This is the rubber match with Holdridge, so that'll be.
We'll see. They seem to stay on an even keel. It doesn't matter what happens; they're always on the same, path, and nothing seems to shake them up.
So we're looking forward. If things work out as they should, they'll be matched up against Holdridge in that district final. Grand Island Central Catholic got the very short straw, but let's give them props for winning that sub-district to girls. 2 great wins over there.
Oh, that was, I sure like that team a lot. They remind me of Grand Island's girls. They just won't give up, and they took a big lead on Central City, and then Central City came back and took the lead, and they immediately went down on a 5-0 run, and they play hard.
Turn things around.
It is
and that's a very telling thing, I think, that Bobby, that to lose the lead and then be tough enough to stick with it and get it back and win the ball game.
But Minden 3 division. They lose by 55 before I saw the game, but you never know. Minden's going to get there anyway if they lose, and
Hey, I hats off to the Crusader girls. Here they are playing the number 1 team in their district and in the state in C1, who's ranked number 3 or 4 in the state.
I didn't realize that. I saw that this morning.
Hats off to you. Get a chance to play the best.
I know. It's just like Big Daddy Lau, James Lau, the coach, said, we're like Boston College going up against Syracuse. Just think about it that way. So look at the outcome of that.
That game's going to be Friday night at Hastings College.
Okay. Good atmosphere.
Good atmosphere, 11-13. Crusaders versus 24-0 Minden Whippets.
3 Division 1 Kissingers.
The Kissinger girls. So.
Yeah. And
of course, our friends at Heartland Lutheran in the finals of sub-district lost to Red Cloud 32-26. A little surprised at that. I thought maybe they'd get the Red Cloud and get to the district final.
But it's a great season.
Great season, winning record.
Wow.
So,
first time in history, isn't it, George? That's a great milestone.
So that's great for the Red Hornets.
Yep.
All right. So I think that about does it for In the Hoop this week. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about some of these results as poker's going up, as they say.
It's getting interesting.
Some teams will, fall by the wayside, and we narrow it down to who's going to head off to state. So I'm George Ayub. That's Bobby Mills. That's Elisa Reeds, who you never see, but she's back there.
She's there, we promise.
And we appreciate her. Thanks to Snap Fitness for sponsoring In the Hoop on theindependent.com. We'll see you next Monday night.
Visit Snap Fitness in Grand Island for all of your workout needs. State-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers will help you reach the exercise and health goals you have in mind. Located at 217 East Stolly Park Road in Grand Island.